Welcome to Tax Sale Insiders, the latest from tax sale resources, bringing you information about tax sales from experts in the industry. TSR has interviewed a variety of industry leaders across the country, including Stephen Morell of Juristeed in Louisiana, Maureen Zink of Carlisle Law in Ohio, John Stanko of Stanko McCarthy Law Group in Illinois, and many, many more. The following is just a small snippet of a longer, in-depth interview with one of these leading industry experts. We interviewed Jesse Loomis, CEO of Bid4Assets, an online deed auction and foreclosure auction site. In this clip, Jesse shares some of the mistakes he has seen investors make when not completing their due diligence. It's vital information, so stay tuned.
So from the investor buyer's perspective, definitely look at each auction or property to make sure what type of deed is being conveyed before you just buy one, and assuming that it's going to come with clear title, correct?
Yes, definitely. Please always, whether it's Bid4Assets or anywhere else, read the terms on the auction. It is so important to know what you're getting yourself into, what you're responsible for. Never go in with sort of blanket assumptions.
Exactly. That's a pretty good caveat in our next section, Jesse, because due diligence, there's all, and not only from a title perspective we talked about, but I'm sure you've seen some crazy situations, just from a physical due diligence standpoint, of folks buying some crazy stuff out there. So what are some of the craziest situations you've come across or you've seen of folks buying properties, online?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have seen, over the last 16 years, a lot of cases of people who sort of buy first, due diligence second, and then come back, upset by the fact that they bought a property from a tax sale that was, didn't have a lot of value. Remember, there's a reason why properties go to tax sale a lot of the time. I mean, you're talking about, especially in a state like California, where property values are pretty strong and it takes 5 years for non-payment of taxes to lose a property. There are some very junky properties that come into sales. I mean, I've seen 1 foot by 100 foot strips. I saw one property that was in a nice commercial area, but if you look at it on GIS or on a plat map, it's a 2 foot by 2 foot manhole cover is what the actual property was. I've seen a lot of underwater properties. Usually in real estate, when you talk about underwater property, it refers to the mortgage being higher than the market price of the property. In tax sales, underwater can mean, Jacques Cousteau is going to have to go do your survey on this property. I mean, there are properties that are now at the bottom of, rivers and harbors that are just, that piece of land is deeded. And the fact that it's covered in water hasn't changed that fact. It explains why someone stopped paying their taxes on the property. But this is, public auction is a process governed by state law. No one's evaluating Bid4Assets, and the county are not evaluating these properties and saying, be careful, this one may not be very good. So this slide that you have up is kind of a heartbreaking example. These are the first 2 properties that a particular buyer purchased in tax sale. And so these 2 are from a single California tax sale. And, this bidder contacted us a few months after the auction when he sort of did his due diligence more, and he acknowledged he really didn't do a lot of due diligence before he bought it. And he said, my God, I just spent $25,000 and I'm realizing, these properties aren't really have a lot of value here.